Good afternoon. It's with a great pleasure that I'm going to talk with Professor Serena Quattrocolo from the University of Turin. Professor Serena, you recently been appointed a full professor. Can you tell us a little bit about your career?
Well, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you for personally and the institution FGV Direito for this invitation. It's true, my career in Italy started about 16 years ago after I got my degree in law in Turin. I had the chance to spend the majority of time in Turin working at the University of Turin. As the university career was organized up to some years ago, I had to pass a certain number of examinations as a researcher, first of all, then as associate professor and as full professor finally. And I could have the chance during this period to exploit, let me say, all the chances that the University of Turin give us as teachers and professors to have international relationship. And this is why I'm here today with you, according to a program of exchange that our two institution instituted since a while, actually.
You've been teaching in Brazil, you've been teaching in the UK, in London recently. You also taught a course in South Africa. Basically, you've been teaching around the globe. What would this experience have to add to someone's professional academic career?
An enormous added value, I would say. The first international experience I had was actually in London at the CTLS, and that was the first time in which I could teach to a transnational class. And this is an enormous added value, as I told you, because you have so many different legal systems represented in just one room. And it is, on the one side, it is very easy to keep the attention of the students and give interesting lectures because they are going to be part of it. You just need to pick up a transnational comparative approach, and the students will help you in putting out issues, comparing issues, and this is an enormous richness that you cannot have in other contexts. The same happened in South Africa, where I gave classes in the Law School Global League Summer School, and once again I had a class of about 40 students coming from all the corners of the world. And once again, the added value of having so different legal cultures together came up immediately and allowed us to go farther, much farther than I thought preparing my classes, actually. And I'm experiencing, once again, the same experience here in Brazil, because even if the topic I was invited to talk about here in São Paulo is strongly related to the Italian reality, students are eager to bring in their personal and national experiences, and this is what, at the end of the day, makes me, as a professor, much richer than I was before, and I think I'm richer probably more than the students are. So this kind of exchange program are important for students, but probably much more important for professors, I would say.
What are your research and your teaching interests?
Well, my expertise is criminal procedural law, according to a division we have in Italy between substantive criminal law and procedural criminal law. I recently focused both under the research point of view and the didactic point of view on a new topic, I would say, which is the European criminal procedural law, which came somehow into force with the Lisbon Treaty after 2009. We now have a legal production of directives and for certain aspects also regulations dealing directly with criminal procedural law, which is something quite new under the sun. And this is an aspect that I thought worth to be focused on. And I saw that the students, I introduced a course with another colleague in Turin about European procedural law, both civil and criminal procedural law. And the students are very happy to follow it, to enroll in it, because this is a new approach to something that we wouldn't be able to teach just 5 or 6 years ago. So this is one aspect of my research. On the other side, I had the chance through my department international links to enter a research group against corruption inside the Law School Global League, in which we established the direct relationship with FGV Direito. And that is another very interesting topic that I'm working on, and I hope I will be able to work on it in the next future. Because once again, we have a topic which is very common, but gives enormous possibility for a comparative approach. And this is a very useful aspect to add to the research.
The topic that you're teaching currently at the Global Law Program here at FGV is the Pulite. As you're aware of, in Brazil we're going through a very sensitive political moment, especially due to some harsh investigations and corruptions, what we call the Operation Carwash. What would be the lessons or potential lessons that Brazil could learn, or that law professionals could share from the Operation Pulite?
Oh, well, we all wish we could learn lessons from others' experience. This is difficult, but what can be considered a potential outcome of such a strong judicial experience like Pulite was in Italy and Carwash seems to be here in Brazil is that this kind of investigation dealing with corruption are strongly related to the core of the society equilibrium. And this can have lots of consequences, lots of unexpected consequences, even at the social and at the political level. We can consider, and this is what I'm trying to do, first of all, with the students here in the course, we can consider it as a judicial experience, but you should be aware, and we all should be aware of the fact that these kind of investigation also have further impact, further outcomes. And Italy can be considered an example of it, because the political settlement of Italy changed completely after the investigation of Pulite, and I don't think that anybody could imagine it before. Political parties were somehow eradicated. Historical political parties were eradicated after Pulite, and not as a consequence of the judicial proceeding, but as a consequence of the impact it had on the public opinion. Public opinion wasn't ready anymore to vote for those political parties. They had voted for them for 50 years, more or less. They weren't ready to vote for them anymore. So something had to change. Unfortunately, maybe for Italy, things took a particular way, but actually something new happened. The experience with the Berlusconi government was, by the way, something new, something completely different from what we had experienced up to that moment. So as a citizen, before then as a jurist, what I retain from that experience is that it might have enormous social impact that can change in a very deep way the aspect of the society and of the political life in a country.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to you.